Hello and welcome to Internet Marketing Revealed. My guest today is Chris Delaney. He's an international DJ, he's a delivery driver, and he's also something else beginning with D as well. Not that, no. He's
No.
a digital marketer. A digital marketer. Now, I've known Chris for about the last year. We got chatting on Facebook initially. He's done lots of stuff over the past year or so, and he's now having some great early success in the online gaming niche, which he's going to talk to us about a little later on. But alliteration aside, it's great to have you as a guest today, Chris. Are you okay there with your camera?
Yeah, I'm always having problems with my camera. It's probably because of this not so pretty face. Also, guys, I do have my headphones sat like I'm a DJ. I have one in and one out. So I just do it all the time. It's natural now because obviously through my DJ, most people have headphones like this, but I'm always having it one in and one out.
Ever the professional.
Yes, sir.
Now, when I decided that I was going to do the Internet Marketing Revealed podcast, Chris was actually one of the first people that I thought of that I wanted to get onto the show and have a chat with him. Now, the podcast and the show overall, it is early days for me at the moment. Now, I want people to come on the show who are going to make my job as easy as possible, basically. I want to have an easy job as possible. And in the nicest possible sense, I'm also looking for people, who have been around a bit. Does that sound about right, Chris?
Yeah, I've definitely been around a bit. Just a little bit.
I'm also looking for people who have got a very strong why on why they want to make this whole online thing work. And it's also good if you're getting somebody on who's been involved in something a little bit different and is also getting some results that we can talk about as well. So all of those things combined, I think, Chris, you are the perfect guest for me in these early stages of doing the Internet Marketing Revealed show. So I really want to thank you for agreeing to come on today.
Thank you very much
indeed. I know this is going to be a great episode overall. So before we get into the whole online gaming thing that you're having success with at the moment, I know that a lot has happened before that. So why don't we start at the beginning, and if you can give us a bit of your backstory.
Okay, so I'm from Manchester. Currently residing in actually Chester, in a beautiful little village, which I came here about 1 year ago. I'm actually currently living with family, which is my auntie. She's been very kindly to let me come back home because most of my family, or where I was living in the UK, unfortunately passed away. So when I came back to the UK, I didn't have no home or anywhere to go. So my auntie said to me, you're most welcome to live here. I live in one of the nicest areas in Chester, which I'm very happy to say, and very thankful for living in a beautiful area. It's actually not far from sunny old Wales, which is only about 10 minutes down the road. So it's great. My uncle's also Welsh, so we got to love the Welsh. We've got a Welsh and English and Irish and Italian family, so it's a bit of a concoction. But yeah, so I've come back to the UK about a year ago, and it's been brilliant actually. So how I started initially, I'm an international DJ. I've been DJing for around 20 plus years now. Started from quite a young age, played around with it. Then, like most things, start with it, then don't finish it. Start with it, don't finish it. And then I decided, right, I'm going to take this a little bit further. And how all that came across was started to go, when I finished school, I started to go to the pubs. Then I ended up seeing a few friends of mine who started DJing in the bars. And I was like, I've always been a very outgoing person, as you probably can tell. I'm very outspoken. I'm not really too bothered if I upset people or I don't. It's not that I mean to do that. It's just because my persona and how I am. And I started to see these people DJing, and I was like, I could do that because I like the environment. I love the people just being happy all the time and smiling and enjoying things. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And when I was growing up, I would say listening to music because of my father, it was very diverse. So I was listening to a lot of indie and rock and roll music. And then going to more towards when I was sort of like going into sort of 14, 15, where I was listening to Indian rock and roll, but then I was going into the hip hop scene. So I was loving the 90s hip hop. And then it was like the garage scene. So I was listening to a lot of music from down south. It was brilliant. And then I started to listen to house music, and I came across dance music, but then I was listening to house music in particular. And I was like, this is so cool. And especially listening to like K-Class. And I'm still very good friends with K-Class now to this day, which they're from Chester actually originally. And I was like, I think I can do this. So I kind of concentrated, going back to my decks, being a bedroom DJ again. Started. And yeah, so DJing, playing around. And then I got my first gig at a pub. And I was so nervous, but I'm still nervous now. And it probably can come across sometimes. I always get that kind of nervous feeling, but I think it's more to me towards an excitement feeling as well, where I'm going on and I'm going to perform, but I'm going to be talking and I'm like, I don't know what to say or what to do. And I'm like, but I do. It's just that kind of nervous excitement feeling at the same time. So I started playing in the pubs, got recognised, and then I did my first gig, which was in Manchester city centre. I think it was called Electric Boogaloo, if I remember rightly, the bar, and it was just phenomenal. That people enjoying the partying, the people, the whole environment, the whole concept of it was just like excellent. I thought, this is what I want to do, but I found it quite hard. Because a lot of people were doing it for like next to nothing, DJing, so nobody was making money really, or you're spending as much as you're earning. For example, if you're going in a taxi there and to town and you're drinking or whatnot, it was just, it wasn't making no money. But I thought to myself, there's got to be a better way to do this and do it in a full-time position. So, being in my sort of like late 20s, late teen, well, not teens, it's like 21, 22, going into my early 20s, 23, I started to move abroad. So I went to Greece initially, and I worked in Malia.
I went to Malia.
Yeah, I did. Did you?
What year were you in Malia?
I DJ'd in Malia from 2007 or 2008 till 2009, it would have been.
I went in 2003, so
really,
I only ever went there once. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I went there previously a few times before on holiday, but then I thought, right, I'm gonna just go, and I just literally, I remember it very well. I was living with my grandmother at the time, and I said to her, I think it was on a Wednesday, and I said to her, right, I'm going. She's like, where are you going? I says, I always found it hard to fit in to a 9 to 5 job, because I love talking and I'm just a giddy person in general. I'm happy, go Larry kind of person. And I just found it like, this being professional all the time. And I understand the professionalism of what you have to do in predominantly 99.9% of jobs. But I just found that life can't be this boring. It was just not me. So I thought to myself, right, that's it, I'm going. So I ended up booking a flight. I went on a website, got this guy's number. He said, yeah, I can put you in a place, accommodation. So I ended up going there, and that was it. I did, 3 seasons over there, 6 months to 8 months of it per year. Brilliant. Went there, you go there, like looking really nice. By the time you come home, you're like, you've not eaten, you're just surviving on pot noodles. And it was just,
you're 25 years old, you look about 50.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You want to sleep when you come home for about 3 weeks non-stop. It's just incredible. But yeah, it was good time. It was good times. And I always respect that. And I always, you know, even till today, I look back and I think that was brilliant. So then I came back and I actually got back and I didn't know what to do. I was like, right, I've got to man up, as they say, or grow up, I should say, more than man up. And then my auntie got me a job at Unilever at St. David's Park in North Wales. And I went there and it was brilliant. I was on decent money, doing computers because that's what my auntie's involved in. Great. But again, it was, you know, being professional 24 hours a day at these jobs. And it was just like, I thought, I don't want this. It's not my thing, you know. I mean, I was very, you know, I have to say thank you to my auntie for the opportunity. So I did that. I only think I lasted about 6 weeks. And yeah, I know. I was expecting to last about a week.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it couldn't have been any further apart, really, from this DJ lifestyle abroad that you'd kind of grown accustomed to, and then coming back to the, you know, to the real world must have
absolutely
must have been quite a shock.
Oh, it's still a shock now, and I'll explain that in a little bit later. But when I got a phone call from an agent, and he was like, "Hi, this is Trevor. Remember the call now," and he says, "We have a gig for you in Abu Dhabi." I'm like, Abu Dhabi? How the hell's that? I've never even heard of it. All I remember was Abu Dhabi do. I was like,
yeah, that was a confusing conversation.
Well, yeah, I was in the office. This is Trevor from Starlight. It was called Starlight Agency, if I remember rightly. And would you like to work in Abu Dhabi? I'm like, I don't know where Abu Dhabi is. So I was like, okay, can I give you a call back, sort of thing? Or give me. I think I said to him, can you call me back in 10 minutes? So I said, I'm just in the office. So I just went back to the computer and looked. Abu Dhabi was like Middle East. And then I went for a 3-month contract, working in kind of like an Irish pub bar called PJ O'Reilly's, which is a really fantastic bar. And that was how I started my career in the UAE, and I ended up being there for 10 years. So it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like when you have, say, one of these soap actors who say, well, I only had a 3-week contract. I was only going to come in as an extra, and I've been here 10 years.
10 years, yeah. It was just incredible. And I'd still be there if it wasn't, you know, due to what's happened over the last sort of 2 years.
What sort of music do you like? Because I was quite keen to find that out from you, and I thought, well, I can't talk to a DJ without talking about the music as well.
It's really weird. I mean, I come across music. I listen to all genres of music, and I actually play all genres of music. And I cross the board from 50s, 60s, 70s till present day, even to subgenres. So, for instance, like I like rock and roll, but then I like, you know, jazz, and then I like, you know, Northern soul, and then I like Tamla Motown, and I like old school dance music and trance, and then you got club classics, old school R&B. I'm really into like the uplifting vocal house.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people are really into sort of like the dirty side of house, where you've got like tech house, minimal techno, you know, and it's stuff where it's just predominantly, you know, instruments. There's no vocals, it's just instrument music. And people go, how can you enjoy this kind of music? And you're like, because it's something that is not the norm or commercialized. But if it's played loud and it's played in a club and you're hearing it and you just think, it's the instruments what get you moving. It's not, in theory, the actual vocals of most tracks. They don't get you sort of dancing. It's the instruments which make you body pop or dance or whatever it is, whatever you want to do.
I do like the instrumental, you know, house and trance as well, but I have to admit, I am a sucker for a vocal as well. I'm a huge sucker for a vocal, and I do like some of the really commercialized stuff back from the late 90s and early 2000s. Although something like, I don't know, Toka's Miracle, for example, which has been played to death, and I think people are sick of it, even though it still gets played on the radio now, you know, 20 years on. But I first heard it when it was on the white label, you know, it was a bootleg, and I remember downloading the bootleg version back in whatever year it was, 2000, on my dial-up connection back at home, and I've still got that on one of my CDs that I burned. It's in the garage at the moment.
That's
But yeah,
fantastic.
I used to level those. True Love
Yeah,
Never Dies as well,
True Love
which
Never
was another
Dies. Yeah.
massive
Do you know?
commercial one. But I've
Do you
got
know what I
the
like?
bootleg of that.
DJ Sammy. I remember seeing him in BCM in Magaluf. That Heaven song, "Baby,
Mm.
You're All That I Want," and I still play that now in a nightclub or in the bars on a weekend, and it goes off, and it's like it'll just never die. And I think that was 2001. I think DJ Sammy Heaven, or it could have been 2001 or 2004. I can't exactly remember now, but that early sort of trancey, big vocal trance music. And I think you're a big fan of that, David.
Love it.
Yeah, I know. I think so. I thought you would. We'll have to definitely go on a night out. I'd love
I'll
to
show
go.
you some. I actually brought some of my CDs along to the show as well because I want to show you some of the classics that I've got. So I'm hoping to
Oh,
win your approval here as well.
right.
So
Go on then. Let's
so
have a look then.
I've got Blue Gatecrasher
Brilliant.
from I don't know what year that is, 1998 or something.
1998,
I've got
yeah.
Euphoria 1.
Oh God, I used to love Euphoria. Yeah,
I've got about
CDs,
4 of them. I think there's about 4 or
Really?
5 of them. Yeah, I've got Transnation 1
No.
as well. I've got all the classics.
Mate, they are classics. I mean, these CDs, keep them. I mean, never ever let them go. But the tracks on them will never die. You know, I was playing again. This lady come up to me last Saturday and she said, "Can you play Encore?" And I was like, "Of course I'll play Encore. What a tune!" I was like, "Right, stay there. Give me a second." And I'm already kind of playing that kind of uplifting, trancey vocal stuff anyway. And then I started playing Encore, and she was like, "Wow, this is fantastic. Nobody's ever played this in years." And I was like, "Come to this bar. You'll know how I'll play it."
I've got them all queued
Yeah.
up, ready to go.
Oh, mate. We'll have to have a night out one day, I'm telling you. That would be brilliant. Whenever things are opening up, which is great, but we'll have to try and find out when there's a decent trance night on, and we'll go and have a rave.
Old school. I've still got my old. It's my old stereo here. It's a Sony stereo, so that's got a tape deck. It's also got a mini disc deck in it as well,
Wow.
which
God,
I don't think I've used since about 2001.
yeah.
But the CD player still works really well on it, so that's why I quite like buying the CDs, just to have an excuse to keep using the machine.
Brilliant,
So
brilliant.
I really like that. But I think we probably need to start talking a little bit about business now,
Yeah.
as much as I'm loving speaking about the old music and
speak
that
about
sort
this
of
all
thing.
day, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I could, yeah, but I think we need to try and
Yeah.
segue into the
Yeah.
online marketing now. So you're out in the UAE, you're DJing,
Yeah.
and was it then you took those first steps into,
Yeah.
I suppose, finding out about what online marketing was?
Yeah. Well, how it all came across, and as I was speaking just off camera before, was I kind of fell into it a little bit randomly through YouTube, and I was currently actually I left the UAE on April of 2020, yeah, April 2020. So I left to the Philippines because my wife's from the Philippines. So I left there, and I thought, because I was already planning to go at Ramadan anyway, which I normally go every Ramadan. I go and see my wife and my daughter, because they come and stay with me in the UAE for 6 months at a time, and then they go and stay in the Philippines for 6 months. So I was going anyway, but I went a little bit earlier because obviously we stopped DJing in mid-March because obviously the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I fell into it through YouTube, came across this this video. I was like online, and it looked quite easy. I thought, that looks easy. Didn't look that too difficult. So I thought, right, okay, I got in touch with this guy. I won't mention people's names, for data protection, but what came across this person's profile, he said to me, "Yeah, join this program." So it was like 7 income streams. The actual program name, probably won't say that as well, but it was a program I paid to the highest level, which cost me about $2,500, $1,000. And then all they said was basically send traffic. So they didn't even tell me about an opt-in page or nothing. It was just or collecting emails, nothing. It was just like, They just sort of like give us your money and that's it really. So I fell into it, and it was the last bit of money. Being this crazy DJ partying all the time, I don't have so much funds available. I'm just always partying, clubbing, paying it. It's just I live life 100%, all the time. And so the last bit of money, I was thinking, oh, if I could do this, I'll be able to survive for a lot longer and pay the bills and whatnot. And I lost about 3 or 4 grand. Gone.
Wow, that's huge. I mean, just to give some context here for the listeners. So the program that you purchased was one of these high ticket
Yes.
online marketing training programs,
Yes.
which you were then able to effectively resell and
Yeah.
earn a commission, then
Yeah.
a high ticket commission
Yeah. It
on
was
any copies that you sell yourself.
Yeah, it was kind of like reminded me now it reminds me of like a pyramid scheme. At the time I never even heard of a pyramid scheme. I didn't know. It was basically you come at this high level, and then you bring other people in at the same level, you get their commission. So example, you come in at $2,000 high level, then the person who comes under you will get you, if they come at 2,000, you get their 2,000 commission. And then it works like that, and as you say, it's basically a pyramid scheme, isn't it? Yeah, that was it really.
Yeah, so I mean, I can see the attraction in those types of programs because people can quite easily get seduced by the numbers. You only have to make one sale and you can earn $2,000. But
Yes.
as you mentioned just now, you paid your money, you got access to this program, got your own affiliate link, your referral link to
Yeah.
give other people. But
Yeah.
then you were just kind of left to it. There was no
Yeah.
real training on how you were supposed to sell this program.
Yeah, he gave me some training, but it's the training was just very simple really. It was simplified, and I thought, okay, and I'm doing what he's saying, but I'm not making anything. And the traffic what I was using, it was like non-responsive. It was just not getting anything. I was getting no sales. I was like, so I went back to him and I said, I said, what's going on? He says, oh, you need to send more. And he said, oh, I can't send any more. I've got no more money.
Yeah, it sounds like you're throwing good money after bad then, because you've paid all this money to access this program, and then you're having
Yeah.
to shell out more money again to send, whether that's email traffic or Facebook ads or whatever else it is to actually send qualified and interested people to this offer, and then in theory they're going to be a good fit and they're going to purchase. But it sounds like that didn't really happen for you, and it was you're just getting yourself deeper and deeper into the red.
Yes, sir. It did indeed.
Yeah. So what did you do after that?
So what happened was I came across another program off the back of that. Again, I started doing some research online, and I came across another program which I actually still in the program till today. I do some promote a little bit, but not too much. But that's where I ended up sort of coming across you and learning your ways of organic traffic, and learning your course. And I thought that was really cool. So again, it's sometimes, you have to deal with the bad to meet the good, and I'm quite grateful in a way now that that one bad thing has actually led into many good things. So I'm actually grateful. I'd do it all again. I'd lose all that money again to sort of where I am now in 1 year later. It's just I'd do it 10 times over because of that.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful of that, to be honest. Really,
Yeah, I mean
really.
that's the thing. It's never a straight line from where you are to where you
No.
want to be. There's always lots of deviations along the way, which are usually costly deviations
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
always
You're not
seems to
wrong there.
be that you never learn a lesson for free. It
No.
always, especially
No.
in online marketing, it's usually an expensive lesson. But
Yeah. That's
I
true.
think that's about the time that we first started chatting about a year
So,
ago. So
yeah.
you were
Absolutely. Yeah.
still. So where were you then? Were you back in the UAE then, or were you still
I
over in
was
the Philippines?
I was in the Philippines, and then I started promoting this particular program, And I had a little bit of success. But to be honest, I was spending more than I was making in this program. And maybe I could have done more. There's always, everybody's, there's always, you can do more, you can do more. Of course you can. But it's if you've got the time, and, not everybody's got 24 hours a day to, work on their particular business or job or whatever, So, and then what happened then is I moved back to the UAE because obviously I heard that you're going to be opening up again. Things are going to be okay. So I'm thinking, no problem. Let's get back over there. No, it wasn't really opening up. I got offered jobs, but there was like, you could make more money in McDonald's. And I'm like, no, thank you. I did kind of leave on bad terms with the UAE, which is a little bit sad to my previous sponsors. But, I was going through depression and anxiety, and I've been suffering that for quite a long time because of how my life is and how I go from ups to downs. Is just crazy, and that's why I have my Brave T-shirt on. Yeah, I struggled a lot, and the guys who I did leave on bad terms, I always kind of carry that with me now because they were really good friends, and I could have probably left on a better terms, but they were offering me very poor salary. Like I said, I could have earned more in McDonald's. So I'd rather go back to the UK. So I came on to the UK. Started doing the affiliate marketing still. Started really pushing to it. Made a little bit of success, but then I started jumping onto started jumping onto it. I got that shiny object syndrome, which predominantly a lot of people do have. And I was buying different programs, getting into different programs, and not concentrating on one, and jumping the next one and then jumping again, and it was just a continuous cycle.
Yeah, I think that's the industry in general, though. I know people often preach that you shouldn't hop from object to object and you should avoid the shiny object syndrome, but without the shiny object without the shiny object syndrome, I don't think there would be much of an internet marketing industry, because it seems that the two seem to be quite dependent on each other, if you kind of get where I'm coming from with that.
100%. And one of the programs is all about shiny object syndrome. And you probably know what I mean by that, but it's like, that's how they do it every week. We're promoting different products, buy it. We want people who just keep going, yep, yep, pressing that button.
That's it. Yeah, that is exactly it. So I mean, you came back to the UK, and what did you do for work when you came back?
So I came back, literally landed back in the UK, and within 2 weeks I was into another job. Very, very. I've always been a worker. I always like working. I'm not one of these people who can just not work. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter if I'm working now online all the time, or I have to work. I can't. I'm not one of these people who, claim benefits and, benefit seeking people. It's not what I don't believe in it. I believe that we're born, we're made to work, and you've got to feed your family and look after your family, no matter what kind of job or work you're in, work industry you're into. You've got to provide for your family, and I've always done that. So within 2 weeks, I got back, got a job. Obviously, I had to do quarantine for 2 weeks. I was working, and I'm currently still working for Amazon. And I've been at Amazon now for nearly a year, and I started doing 6 days a week. But then I started gradually cutting down and down and down, because I'm making just as much money or more now with my affiliate marketing and my gaming business. So I could cut back days. So instead of me doing 6 days a week, I'm only doing 4 days a week. Plus I do DJing on a Friday and Saturday night, which is great money. So really, I'm like working 7 days a week.
7 days a week, yeah, no rest at all.
Yeah, I'm actually happy though, because that's me. I enjoy that, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, before we get on to the online gaming thing, which you currently is like your current main focus,
massively,
you also had a negative experience again in affiliate marketing as well. Do you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, certainly. So again, I thought, okay, another high ticket program I came across. It was, again, I only bought it through the trust of another person who was promoting that program. But it was actually not his high ticket program. It was another program underneath it, which was still quite, fairly high ticket. Well, high ticket, $300. I mean, still a lot of money to anybody.
Yeah.
So I bought this product, and then within this product, this guy then sold me a high ticket program. What he's in, so this is his first supposedly high ticket program. I jumped into it, and around about 50 other people, or I think, joined into it. And I thought at the start, everything's hunky dory and it's great. But I thought to myself, right, I'm going to put my heart and soul into this, because I kind of liked what it did, but some of it was a bit spammy. But I didn't use that in my business sense. I used what it was doing, but then I created it in a different way. So how I do email marketing, because he was like email marketing 6 or 7 times a day, spamming people, and I didn't like that kind of way of making business. I don't think you need to. You can do, instead of them 7 or 8 emails a day, you could probably send 1 and still get the same results. It's just how you email it at the right time, right wording, everything else, the right offer, obviously. So I did that, and then I started to help others within the group, because obviously I've got a little bit more experience now, and I started helping. So he was saying, because I helped, he was going to help me. So that means obviously he was going to plug me in to his commissions and whatnot, and to find out that basically he used me, and not just me, but about 20 or 30 other people's PayPal account for his business antics. And
Okay.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So it'd be just to kind of explain a bit about what this setup was. So effectively, he was using your PayPal account to process sales for
Yes,
his products.
correct. And what he was doing with that also, on the top of that, was, example, he wasn't just using our PayPal account to process sales. We were also we was the ones who had to deal with the refunds and all the other headache. So, example, he would say, right, I've got a sale of $100. That sale goes in, but that sale would come to my account, but I would only get 5% or 2%. It was just really low end ball commissions. Then it would come up as a partner's commission of like 98%, 95% to that particular person. But if a refund came in or whatever, he wouldn't have to deal with it. He's just got the commission. I had to deal with the headache and the refunds and all that. And on the back of that, unfortunately, I've got my PayPal account blocked, suspended, and I could never use PayPal ever again. They've got my details. I could never utilize PayPal again, which crushed my business and crushed my utilization with PayPal, because I used it for other stuff. And it's not been the best, but another learning curve for you.
I suppose, as far as PayPal are concerned, that you're the person who's selling that product because the money's going into your account. But I mean, what was the reason why they canned your account?
Basically, they were saying it was a Ponzi scheme, get rich scheme, all the other so. I've got all the emails saved, everything. I've got all of it. But it was just basically fraud. That's what they were saying.
Yeah, pretty serious. It's
pretty,
when they use that kind of terminology, things get very real then, because you think,
I was very scared, to be honest, mate. I've never done anything like that in my life. I might look like a bit of a thug, but I'm not. But it was pretty scary, because then they were saying, there was fraud, and when I got on the phone, they were saying they might get the authorities involved and all that, and I was like, whoa, this is nothing to do with me. I only gave him my PayPal email address. That's all I gave him. That was it. And that was 20 or 30 other people. So what I did on that was, on the back of that, I thought, right, well, you've messed with the wrong person. So I helped. I've got a friend of mine who's helped me with the wording and doing everything back to PayPal in the correct format. And I helped about 20 or 30 people receive their refunds back from that high ticket program, including myself. So I got all my money back. And I'm the one who's laughing now, not him.
Well, at least that story had somewhat of a happy ending, even though
Yeah,
you still don't
yeah.
have your PayPal account, but at least you got
No.
your money back from
Yeah.
that particular online adventure. But
Yeah. Just
yeah, so
another lesson learned.
yeah, so I mean, at this point, then, okay, you're now without a PayPal account, but you're
Yeah.
not totally out of pocket.
No.
So where did you go from there to discover the
The
whole
gaming.
online gaming thing that you're involved with at the moment?
So again, this particular person was selling another product.
So you went back again.
Yeah. Come on, bring me some more. No, this was never ending. Oh, here we go again. Camera gone off. There we go. So when I was in this high ticket program, he was saying, "Don't buy any more products," to everybody. "Don't buy this. Don't buy that." But then he was selling this gaming business, gaming products. I thought, well, I used to be a bit of a gamer. I kind of like this, and I bought it. And I thought, right, that's it. I said to myself, "There's no more now. This is it. No more buying shiny objects. I spent enough." And I have, and all I've done now is concentrate on this gaming business, and it's really, really taken off. I'm seeing very good return on investment, which I'm currently looking at around about 25 to 30% on my investment. I've made currently over $6,500 in the last sort of 3 months, I would say. I've took on 10 students, which I've helped them start their own gaming business. I say I do a 4-week course, but it's not really a 4-week. It's like a never-ending course sort of thing. I'm always there if they need me for help. I just basically help them set it all up from A to B, A to Z, and also I help them find profitable games and tricks and tips what I've been learning myself and finding out. I share that to my students.
Yeah. So
Um,
tell us how this business is set up overall. What does it involve?
you know what? To be honest, the system itself isn't the best. Won't lie. I tell my students really don't buy it. I can teach you a better way. Because you don't actually need it. It's the only thing that's good for is time. So that can find games quicker than what you can do it manually. That's the only difference that I've found. So I've said, like, I mean, it is good for if you haven't got that time, but if you've got time, or like what I do, is I spend maybe an hour, 2 hours a day, on the weekends a lot more, but to find games, and I find a lot more profitable games than what that system actually does. So yeah, I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah.
And I told the product owner.
So it's essentially you're purchasing games
Games,
online,
yeah,
but not physical games. You're purchasing
no,
it's the see I'm not up on all this
right. So
online gaming.
exactly.
So it's like an access code to
Yes, it's access codes predominantly. You have two different ways. On this particular platform, you can either be a individual seller or a business seller. Now, a business seller, you can sell everything from gift cards to all kinds of different games, DCLs, which are obviously additional games to the actual base game. Or you do a normal seller, which you can only predominantly sell the base games. Obviously, I'm a business seller, which you don't have to be a business company. I just sent them as a UK guy, just sent them basically my tax number because obviously I'm self-employed, and that was it. But what I do is I buy games, predominantly PC games from Steam for the Steam account. I buy it for, say, example, I buy it for 10 euros a game, and then I sell it for 12 euros, so I make a €2 profit on every single game. But if you sell many of them games, your profits start going up dramatically. But it's very, very easy. It's just buying base games or keys for games, and then you sell them for a profit on another platform. So you buy for one platform, sell it to another platform. That simple. It is literally that simple. I mean, predominantly, if you was a gamer back in the sort of like 90s, early 2000, you would know where you'd go to a shop. You've completed a game, and you're like, right, well, I'm gonna remember Crash Bandicoot, early 2000. You go into a shop and you say, right, and then the guy would say, right, okay, I'll give you, £5 for that. And no, you say, no, I want £6, and you got that kind of bargaining. And then obviously he would say, okay, I'll give you £6, and then he would sell it then for £8. So he would make a profit. So that's what I do, but in a digital sense.
Yeah, I can see a huge advantage with that, actually, because back in the day, if you were going to do this, then you'd have to have the physical game, whether that was a cartridge or a
Yes.
CD. And
Yeah.
if you were purchasing 100 at a time, you'd have storage issues. You'd have to pay delivery costs, all of this kind of thing. Whereas now, if you're just trading the access to the digital game, then you don't have any of that, because it's just information in the form of a code. So you could spend, say, $100, purchase a number of games, and then sell, as long as you sell them all, you can sell them for, let's say, $150 or $200. So you're making those profits, and you don't have any of the headaches of storage and delivery and sending games out to your customers and them complaining that they didn't receive it, and all of those other headaches that go along with that. So it sounds like a really simple but potentially lucrative business. But I suppose that is going to be volume based, given the numbers that you've mentioned there.
It's very, very volume based. I mean, I'm still a baby to it. The gaming business. I mean, some of the guys on there are just ridiculous amounts of games and hundreds of thousands of games. I mean, I've currently sold over about 800 games now, which seems quite a lot, but it's like nothing compared to some of these big players. I mean, I want to scale this on a big level. I'm in talks with trying to get a couple of different wholesalers on board. They're hard to find wholesalers. Really, really, really. Basically it's an e-commerce business. It's a very, very tough industry. But if you do it right, and because I'm so excited about this business, and I love it. I mean, I spend so many hours and finding games and then sending it to my students, and they're making profits. I mean, one guy's now just crossed the €700 mark, which is brilliant. It's only been about 4 weeks. So, but a lot of people, it depends on how much money you've got. I mean, if you've got, loads of money, you could easily just start buying loads of games and make huge profits. But I always say to my students, you just start off small and start to see the few sales. I mean, one of my other students, he literally put his game on within 3 minutes or 2 minutes. The game sold. It's like, wow, I've never made money that quick. It's like, that's how quick. I mean, if it depends on because the custom base is worldwide.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So whoever uses this particular platform, if they're on it finding that particular game, like I'm selling games at the moment, which like I'll just tell you one game which I'm selling, and I've completely no idea. And it was I'll tell you, one of it was called a goat simulator.
Oh yeah, sounds dubious.
Right. It's selling like hotcakes, and I buy it. You bought it for example £1.50, and I'm getting £2.50 for it. So I'm making £1 every single time I sell it. So I've bought 10 keys of it. There's 10 quid. I'm not £10 for doing literally click, put on, done, job done.
Money for nothing.
That's it.
Money for old rope.
Yeah.
I mean, at what point did you think, this is the industry, or this is the type of business now that I want to really make a go of?
I think it's because it's less headache than doing affiliate marketing. I love affiliate marketing, but it's a lot of time and effort. It's a lot of gambling. And what I mean by that is, especially if you're trying to build email lists and you're sending offers to, for instance, Warrior Plus, ClickBank, JBC, whatever. They're all the same. It's you've got to send traffic, by solo ads or Google ads or Microsoft ads, as it's called now. It's a gamble. And even every business is a gamble, of course it is. But this one's always won. I've never lost anything. Every game I've bought, I've sold for a profit. I've literally, I think I've sold less than, say, 5 games I've lost on money from them. But every single game I buy, I've made profit. Now, there's no industry that can do that. I know for a fact. I've tried in many different things over the last year. I can literally say, if every single game you buy predominantly will give you a profit. That's it. There's no other industry that can give you that, and I'll stick to my words with that.
Yeah, I mean that does sound really attractive, actually, for somebody who's coming in maybe to the industry first for the first time, wants to try to start making money online. I mean, in your opinion, what do you think makes a great game to sell? I mean, what are the sort of things that you look for?
Again, it's just about research. Research is something that you should do. So, example, what I do, and I'll give you a little tip, is, for instance, go on there and put Game of the Year 2009, Game of the Year 2010, Game of the Year 2011, sports games 2011, action, so best action games of 2010. Whatever.
Yeah, so it's not just the new games that you're selling. Then it's older games as well.
I sell old games. Some of the oldest games are selling miles more than the new games.
Okay, that's really interesting. Actually, I thought when I first heard that you were doing this that you'd only be selling the latest brand new games. Like your FIFAs.
To be honest, I've hardly touched any brand new games.
Oh, okay, that's really interesting.
I've not really touched any. The newest game I've just bought, and probably it's the only game I've actually bought which is new, is Far Cry 6. And that's cost me a little bit of money, but because of a new method that I'm learning with gift cards and whatnot, is that I will make decent profit on this game. But again, you're spending a little bit more, because most games I'm buying are about $5, $10, small amounts of money. But it's volume, and if I see a good profit, so I always look at a decent profit is 25-30% per game. So if I can do 25 to 30%, I'll buy that game 100%. Even sometimes I'm actually doing 10%, 15%. But again, because of how I'm trying to manage my business with the gaming business, is it's about selling many games but getting my rating up, because obviously the more ratings I'm getting, the higher up the ladder you go.
Yeah.
Within this platform.
Yeah, so it's not unlike a lot of other things in the online marketing industry, is that like reputation is everything, and the more the more ratings you get, the better rating you get, the higher up in the listings you're going to appear in.
Absolutely.
You should be making more sales as a result of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you're going to get a few things, like, for instance, you're going to get sometimes the game key doesn't work, or the wrong game key. So sometimes this happens. You bought it from one particular platform, you thought that's the key, that's the correct game, whatever. Sometimes it's not always the case. Everybody can do customer service. It's just being polite and trying to resolve an issue. And that's what I tell my students. If your game's wrong or whatever, look at it like you can give them a refund. It's money, you've not lost anything. Do you know what I mean? It's money that you've spent, and then you're just going to, you've earned, and then you're just going to send back. But I think I've done about, in 700 games, probably about less than 10. 10 refunds.
Yeah, that's an amazing percentage, actually.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd see those sort of numbers in the general online marketing industry, where you're selling info products and trainings and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody wanted to get into this side of the online marketing industry, if they wanted to set themselves up as a a games seller, similar to
Yeah.
what you're doing. I mean, what advice would you give somebody brand new?
I would say have a bit of patience. Um, Again, don't think you're going to be, making get rich schemes and all that. You've got to treat it as a business, guys, and you've got to understand that the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. So if you're going to go in with the mindset of, okay, I'm only going to spend $100 a month on it, well, you're probably only going to make $120 a month. So you're only going to get $20 profit. So it's all depends on how you want to, run your business. And this is what I was saying to my students is like my goal was I'm trying to double up every month. And I've started to do that because of my students for the last sort of 2 months. I mean, I started taking students on after a 1 month of learning this and doing it. But I did it at a very low price, and it wasn't really about the money for me. It was about really because some of that money I reinvested back into games to give the games to the guys. So, do you know what I mean? To my students. So it wasn't nothing to do with the money. It was more towards trying to help them and build a sustainable business, whether it's going to be, an extra bit of income every month or you're going to do it full time. Now, I'm hopefully by the end of this year, if not going into next year, is that I can just do this full time and I can spend all my time buying and selling games because I love it. The excitement of like waking up every day and going, how many games have I sold overnight? And I'm like, wow, and it's that's the excitement part of it. Where before I never used to get that excited about doing other marketing projects and stuff. This one, it's really, really, really gives me excited. Gets me excited. Sorry.
Yeah, it sounds like it is the type of business where you can actually, to coin an old marketing cliche, make money while you sleep. Because if you're
Yes,
waking up every morning
every single
excitedly to
morning.
check your email, see how many
Yeah,
copies of the games that you've sold overnight.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, so I suppose you've kind of answered the next question I was going to ask you is what are going to be your plans for the next 12 months? So you're going to
yeah.
focus most of your attention now onto the online games.
Definitely. It's something that I'm, like you say, I'm very, very passionate about now. Concentrating on my gaming business myself, but also hopefully bringing more students on and teaching them. Hopefully, we can give you some details on how to get in touch with me if you're interested in learning how to do this. I'm very open. I'll give you tutorials, give you manuals, and also you have a face-to-face onboarding call, and then obviously weekly calls if you need be to know where you are and whatnot. I was going to try it doing it in a Teams, but it's because people are from all over the world. It's very, very difficult. So what I'm trying to do now is more of a one-on-one basis. So you don't really get that with a lot of marketers. They rather just do loads of tutorials, do your stuff, or to the mass, and I always find that everybody's because people in different countries, you can't always sort of because I only try to keep like small teams, like 4 or 5 people, and there's a reason for that, which I'll explain if you do come on board, because obviously there's things that makes it better and makes you generate more income because of the reason why I do it that way. But that's
Okay.
I can't explain that now. You have to come on board.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't give away everything.
No, no, no.
Yeah. All right. So, I mean, that'll lead us on nicely then. So if anybody wants to find out more about you, or if they want to find out more about the program that you've put together to set yourself up as an online games business, I mean, where would
Yeah.
people find you?
I have a website now, which I've just sorted out. It's only a small little website. It's just basically a masterclass of what I do. You can find it on flipandprofit.com. Again, I repeat, flipandprofit.com. Otherwise, you can actually just look me up on Facebook. My name's Chris Delaney, spelt as you can see on the screen. I'm always on. I've got a few different accounts, but I'm always on all accounts because I have like my DJing one, celebrity, not really. I've got my DJing one, and then I've got me obviously business online marketing one. But yeah, just give me a shout, and I'm ready to help if I can. hopefully I'll see you on the inside of that.
Okay, great. I'll also put a link to those two sites as well in the show notes as well. So if anybody wants to find out more about that, they can just click straight through and connect with you there. Okay, I think that's going to bring everything to an end. Thank you so much for joining me on the episode today. I knew this was going to be a good episode. That's why
Yeah,
I was
really
so glad
thank
that you decided to come on. So thank you very much for doing that. So yeah, I wish you the best of luck with the online gaming business. I'm sure that's just going to go from strength to strength.
Yeah.
And also your ongoing DJing on the weekends as well. You know, keeping the
I'm
keeping the
performing
old
tonight.
school
Yeah,
house and trance dream alive.
I am, mate. I'm excited. And yeah, you'll see me jumping and dancing around in the DJ booth on stage as usual. I'm never ending. So come and say hello.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you once again for joining me on the episode today, Chris. And I look forward to seeing your updates of the gaming business now over the coming weeks and months.
Thank you so much indeed. I really appreciate
No problem
it.
at all.
Thank you, David.
Speak to you soon.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Please visit internetmarketingreveal.com and davidwalker.net for more free content. If you need a domain name for your business, visit domainsreveal.com where you'll find more than 1,000 premium domains. And finally, please rate and review this podcast. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.